I think digital media builds a wonderful foundation for investigative reporting of the sort we weren't able to do before. But it's not the be-all and end-all of investigative reporting. It's a key and critical element. It gives us the opportunity to be more far-reaching. It gives us the opportunity to use data to prove things that in the past we could never do. But it doesn't replace the good common sense of journalists. It doesn't in any way give a back seat to the very important part of any story, which is to get people to talk. You can have all the data in the world, but you don't have a story until people tell their stories about what happened.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the Panama Papers is a wonderful example of the kind of collaboration that's now possible across many borders on subjects that are of interest in many, many countries. This was not possible before. And the fact that they were able to do this with so many reporters in so many countries participating and to keep it a secret and then have everybody publish, it had an enormous impact. And this is wonderful step forward, I think, for international collaboration on many, many issues. I think the most fundamental technique in journalism, and it hasn't changed from the 19th century to the 20th century to the 21st century, is talking to people and persuading them that it's important for them to tell their story. Because to me, it doesn't matter how much technology we have and how good it is and how good the databases are. The best stories don't come to us. We have to go to them. And many of the people who talked to us, who had suffered serious harm, would never have talked to us if we had simply called them on the phone or sent them an email. We had to go knock on doors and get to know people and get them to trust us before they'd tell us anything. And with any important story, that's always true. The most important part of any story is what people tell you from their own experience. I very often play hunches. I look at things and I say, I wonder if. And very often, if you wonder if, it turns out there's something there. I like to turn over rocks that have never been turned over, and look at places in society where reporters haven't been. Because sometimes, unless there's a bright light shone on institutions, wrongdoing can take place. One thing I like to do, and I always ask my reporters to do, is go out and find people you wouldn't ordinarily talk to. Go to poor neighborhoods and ask people what their lives are like and what happens to them and how they have to deal with the government and what kind of response they get. And very often you find your best stories simply by talking to people. You also find your best stories sometimes simply by walking around with your reporter's cap on when you're not working, and always be looking around and asking questions. Why is this the way it is? Why am I seeing something like this? What's the reason behind it? All of these things. One of my colleagues, Steve once did a year-long investigative story because he was out for breakfast on a Sunday morning and he saw a police car come up to the restaurant, and there were two policemen in it, and they were reading the newspaper, which is a good thing. But he sat there looking at them and he said, I wonder how anyone measures the performance of the police department. And so he did a year-long investigation that showed that the police department in Boston was one of the most inefficient police departments in the entire United States, simply because he looked out the restaurant window and said, I wonder if. And that led to a great story.